Well, we're halfway through the season. Thank God. This episode is called You Who Cannot See, Think of Those Who Can, which is just a really long-winded, artsy fucker way of saying a lot of y'all have secrets. It's an appropriate title because two pretty big secrets come out this episode. Let's just jump right in. First off, there are pretty much three main storylines, and they're all kind of, I mean, it's an episode of television, so they're all mingled together, but I'm just gonna separate them all, but know that they're not happening like this in sequence. They're all going on at the exact same time. When the scene opens, Jules is going down on Rue. And then there's a series of scenes that act as a kind of shrine that Rue has built up in her mind for how much she loves Jules. It's just like a series of different scenes and vignettes of Jules recreating really iconic pieces of art. And then they jump to a scene of Rue and Jules recreating the pottery wheel scene from Ghost, as well as the Jack, I'm Flying scene from the Titanic. So, you know, we have really great high-class art like Frida Kahlo, and then we have Ghost. We go back to the main scene where Jules is going down on Rue, and Rue can't feel anything because she is high as fuck. Rue fakes an orgasm pretty terribly. Like, I am embarrassed for Zendaya, and not because she faked faking an orgasm badly, but because that she faked it way too good. She is just too good of an actress because I was cringing throughout this whole scene. Honestly, the first 10 minutes of this episode, I was cringing. Later on, Jules and Elliot are hanging out alone for some reason, and she tells him that she believes Rue faked an orgasm. Elliot suggests it's because Jules is really bad at eating pussy, and he then demonstrates how to eat pussy on Jules's fist. And then something completely unexpected happens. Something nobody saw coming. They make out. And they almost have sex, but then Rue shows up. There's actually a really great scene where Elliot and Jules are making out on the bed, and then they stop because Rue comes out from the bathroom. Elliot then immediately goes into the bathroom where he sees a line of some drug that Rue has lined up for him. And it's really just a great way to drive home the fact that Elliot is keeping secrets about both of them. Neither of them knows that the other has a huge secret. Anyways, they decide that they're gonna go steal some liquor. At the convenience store, they steal a case of White Claw, which is probably the first time watching the show. I'm thinking, okay, these are high schoolers. Anyways, Rue starts drinking a White Claw, and then Jules notices and she gets upset and she asks Rue to stop. Rue gets really pissed off by this because, you know, she's high and drunk, and now Jules is appropriately calling her out on this shit. Rue even says to Jules, I can't fucking stand you. They drop Rue off at some location and she goes home, and then Jules and Elliot go back to Elliot's place. They start making out again before Elliot stops it and tells Jules that Rue is not sober, and she hasn't been since the new year. What a waste of drama. Like, they actually had a good thing going, and now it's just out like that because Elliot decided to tell Jules. I think it's so lazy. They could have done so much more with the storyline, and they definitely could have had Jules figuring it out in a different way, a more dramatic way. At the end of the storyline, Jules has sex with someone. I think it's Elliot, but I'm not completely sure because they don't actually show who it is. And then at the end, she has like scratch marks from fingernails on her thighs, and I don't know why that just doesn't seem like something Elliot would do. So I don't know, maybe it was Elliot. That's what they're kind of implying, but I don't know for sure. It's very possible that she could have gone back to sleeping with strange men in motels because of this thing that she just learned about Rue. Rue, back at home, looks like she's on death's doorstep. I mean, she's just like, she's gone out of her mind. She literally looks like she's about to die. She hallucinates dancing with her father, who she very, very clearly misses. And if this is supposed to be some nod or hint that the reason behind Rue's addiction is the loss of her father, which is very much what it seems like it's trying to be, it completely contradicts what was said in the last episode. I mean, Rue literally says that if her father were still alive, that she would still be doing drugs. And now it very much seems like Sam Levinson is going back against that. That being said, Rue is not the most reliable narrator, so who knows if she even knows what's going on. Basically, Sam Levinson is telling us right now that the reason Rue is an addict is because she misses her father. Storyline number 2. Maddie is having a birthday party at the Howard's house with some supervised drinking by Lexi and Cassie's mom, and she partakes as well because it's Lexi and Cassie's mom. Nate and Maddie discuss getting back together, which is exactly where it looks like it's headed. Apparently apparently Nate is still sleeping with Cassie even after he has approached Maddie and discussed getting back together. And so we're back at Maddie's birthday party now. In case you've missed the last 3 episodes or the last 3 recaps, Cassie's not doing well. Mentally, she's been better. And because of this, she is just binge drinking. She's drinking really, really heavily at Maddie's party. Maddie, Kat, and Nate get into the hot tub, and Cassie, still trashed, joins them. Nate says no very hastily, as Kat put it, to a question about whether or not he and Maddie are back together. Maddie gets really pissed off because of his tone when he said no, and it erupts into this huge fight, culminating in Cassie projectile vomiting into the hot tub, which causes everybody to jump out. Cassie stays inside of the hot tub of vomit, and she's just wailing over and over, "I'm so sorry, Maddie, I'm so sorry." Her mother comes out and drags her out of the hot tub and up the stairs, and it's really just a tragic moment. I'm not quite sure if Maddie and Nate end things right there because they get into this huge fight. They never really go back to that. Maddie's definitely not happy with him right now. And so now we're on the 3rd storyline. Cal gets hammered and he ends up driving in his white Jeep to the gay bar that was in the last episode. The one that he went with to Derek, his best friend from high school, and also the first man he ever slept with. Cal starts dancing and a guy comes up and starts dancing with him, and they hold each other very intimately. For some reason, Cal just starts wrestling the guy, and then they throw him out of the bar. Cal somehow makes it back home without killing himself or anyone else, and he pulls his dick out and starts peeing in the hallway. His family comes out because there's a man peeing in the hallway, and McSteamy spends almost the entire scene with his dick out. I mean, he's fully clothed, and his penis is literally just out. Cal's going through it. It's obvious. His past is catching up to him. He then asks his 2 sons and his wife, "Do you know how many men I've fucked?" And then Cal drops an even bigger bomb. I think the biggest bomb of the episode, bigger than Elliot telling Jules that Rue isn't sober. Cal says, "You want to know what my biggest regret is?" And then he points to Nate. Like, damn. We all knew, but damn. Saying that to your kid that you've fucked up beyond repair. He blames his family for everything. It's obvious that he's trapped into this life that he never really wanted. And he very poetically walks out the front door holding a family portrait. We finally get a new storyline introduced about 46 minutes in. Because why not? Faye's boyfriend shows up at Fez's house with some important information. Now, we don't know what he tells him, but it's pretty obvious that it's going to be about Rue. The case of drugs worth $10,000. The episode ends with a series of vignettes of each character, again kind of mimicking that opening sequence with Jules recreating all of the art poses. And it's very obvious that Sam Levinson wanted each character, each frame, each shot to look like a painting, basically. And that's about it. Honestly, this recap is going to be probably the shortest one I've ever done, and I don't know why that is. Because a fair amount happened this episode. I feel like more happened this episode than in the last 2. That being said, I didn't really like this episode. It just kind of dragged, I thought, and I couldn't stand the editing. The way I recapped it just now, I separated the 3 stories, and obviously throughout the episode, they run parallel to one another. But the way that they edited them together, it was like, okay, one scene from this story, one scene from this story, one scene from this story. Whereas usually there are several scenes from each story before cutting to the next. Like, it would cut from Cassie being Cassie to Cal driving to Rue spacing out, back to Cassie, back to Cal, back to Rue. You can do that, but it's just like, let me stay in one fucking story for long enough just to take in what I'm watching. It just seems like we didn't spend near enough time on each storyline as much as we needed to. And that was just a decision that was obviously made with the director and the editor. I didn't personally like it. Also, the writing for this episode seemed to get on my nerves more than anything. And I don't know if that's just because I came off of a 12-hour shift and I'm just not okay with anything right now. But no, I didn't think the writing was that good. I thought their dialogue was so cringy and not at all realistic. I'm gonna say that the way Cal's storyline this episode was handled was actually pretty good. I am a fan of every choice that was made there. Especially Eric Dane's acting. I thought he was excellent. in this episode. I mean, he's been pretty good in the others, but this one I thought he was great. He really was able to kind of portray a man in a severe state of regret for how his life has turned out. Rue and Elliot getting together, that was pretty predictable. What was not predictable, however, was Jules having pretty much no remorse about hooking up with Elliot, even like kissing him when Rue was literally in the same house. She was just in the bathroom and they were making out on his bed. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. This episode kind of felt more like a chore. Hopefully next week is gonna be more interesting now that Jules knows about Rue. I think that will kind of create some more interesting storylines, or at least some more engaging storylines, because now maybe it'll come out with everyone and everyone will know and we can go through the motions with that. I do think that it shouldn't have been revealed this early on. I think that was what the whole season was going to be about, and now I'm not really sure where it's headed because I don't know where it can go besides rehab or I guess overdose. Take your pick. But yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye.